After the flooding, only the bottom part of the partition was cut out and the insulation wool is being dried. Is that enough? Or is it necessary to replace everything? And what should be done about the flooded plasterboard ceiling? First, we assess the water damage. If the plasterboard or insulation wool is affected by sewage, contaminated floodwater, or firefighting water that has flowed through soot and combustion products, we no longer consider saving the affected porous materials. We remove them, but we still clean and dry the remaining structure. Once you've decided to save the materials, you must start drying them immediately. Some recommendations state that drying should be completed within 24 to 48 hours. This significantly reduces the risk of mold growth. However, missing this deadline doesn't mean the materials can't be saved. The final decision should be made after a technical assessment of the materials. If the water is clean, we evaluate whether the materials are worth saving. Mold, peeling drywall paper, crumbling drywall core, noticeable board sagging, or insulation deformation that doesn't recover means the damaged part must be replaced. Not necessarily the entire structure. Partial replacement is possible. First, we consider the simplest drying method. If only the accessible surface got wet and water did not enter the cavities, heating, dehumidifying, and moving air along the surface may be sufficient. Natural ventilation only helps when the outside air is drier. If the back of the board and the wool frame have become damp, surface drying is not enough. The cavity needs to be opened. The bottom strip of drywall is cut out, the wool is removed if necessary, and an airflow path is created. Essentially, the same requirements apply to flooded ceilings. However, drying a closed ceiling cavity can be significantly harder. Besides, standing water may have collected in the ceiling profiles. Once drying is complete, we perform a final assessment of the structure's technical condition and determine their suitability for continued use. We keep the insulation if it's clean, mold-free, not deformed, and hasn't settled. To summarize, we remove contaminated materials, we remove irreversibly damaged materials, either fully or partially, and we dry the remaining materials. We'll make the final decision on the material's suitability once they've completely dried.